Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Navigating Endo with Ashley. This is episode 9 and I'm so excited to talk to you today about what does family have to do with this? And it turns out they have a lot more to do with it than I initially realized. But before we go any further, please like and subscribe so that you can stay tuned for future episodes. Well, the reason why I wanted to bring you guys today's episode was one of the first questions I received after my first video aired was, how did your mom respond to your pain? And, the subsequent diagnoses after that. And I think that's a really great question because I think it's very important to talk about family involvement, especially when you have chronic pain. First off, I think it's very important to note that my mom does not have endometriosis or adenomyosis. My mom has not had heavy bleeding, abnormal bleeding. She's not had any abnormal periods as far as I'm aware, and she has not had painful periods. So when I first got my period and it was super painful, she just let me know that right off the bat. She said, you know what, I don't know what you're experiencing, but I do know that you do have family members who have had painful periods and maybe you are experiencing the same sort of symptoms that they've experienced. And my mom was really good in that. First of all, she's in the medical field. I am not. I always like to remind people that. I am a patient. I have no medical background whatsoever. I just share my personal experiences. So my mom, she was very good in the sense of she would get me Advil, Tylenol, just the basic over-the-counter medication to try and help with my pain, and hot and cold compresses, and do whatever she could to try and make me feel comfortable. I also do not ever remember being reprimanded or getting in trouble for not going to school or not going to my part-time job when I was in high school. Because I would be visibly at home in pain, curled up on the couch or on my bed and trying to soothe myself, along with a lot of crying as well. So I do think there was a point when my mom was like, okay, are you over exaggerating? Is this pain really as bad as what you say it is? Because doctors kept telling me, this is normal. But aside from that, I think my mom handled it very well. One of the best pieces of advice my mom has ever given me is to log your symptoms. It is your doctor's job to help you out, but you have to bring them the information so they can help you. This is the part where I want to acknowledge that although I've been a very fortunate person and I have an understanding mother and other family members as well, not everyone has this support. So if you are someone who is looking to support someone with a chronic illness, maybe think about opening the door for communication even, and just ask them, do you have people that support you? Do you have someone to lean on? Do you need someone to lean on? I could be that person for you. Just opening that door of communication can mean the world to someone. Next point I wanted to bring up is family medical history. Of course, not everyone has the opportunity to discover what their biological family medical history would be, but if you do have that opportunity, I highly suggest that you gather as much information as you can. As you know, every time you go and see a new medical professional, one of the first questions they ask you is, what's your medical history? What's your family medical history? What are some of the big diseases that people in your family have experienced? Was that as confusing for you as it was for me? I'm sorry, let me clarify. What I intended to say was, what major health events have your family members experienced? Because they use that as a reference point to do the process of elimination when they're trying to figure out what you are experiencing. You may be thinking to yourself, my family's medical history is their business. They're not going to want to share their information with me. And you could be totally right, because it is their business and they don't have to tell anyone if they don't want to. But here's the thing. You don't know unless you ask. And you also have to think about it this way. If they're willing to share information with you and vice versa, you can both be helping each other out. You don't know until you try. And that was a hurdle that I faced myself. It wasn't until 2 years after I was diagnosed with endometriosis that I finally worked up the courage to reach out to family members because I had reached a roadblock with my physicians at that time. They kept telling me, we don't know what else to do for you. We've already discovered that you have endo and tried to remove it as best as they could. And they had given me all these other treatment options that just were not helping. And I thought to myself, okay, what do I do? I'm stuck, I'm lost, I don't know where to go. Why don't I try to connect the dots myself, even though I have no medical background? And so that's what I started to do. One by one, I started messaging family members, and on either side of my mom's family and my dad's family, and I was overwhelmed at the response that I got. I got a super positive response. And I did get a couple negative responses too, but I didn't take it to heart because I understand that your personal health history is very, it can be a very sensitive topic. Like, not everyone wants to talk about this. So that I totally get. And the conversations that did open up with some of my family members was amazing. And I'm fortunate enough to have a family that are older than me and they have more life lived, and their experiences were so valuable to me because it gave me something to cling on to. You know, my mom, like I said, didn't have endometriosis or any of these symptoms, and to find out that other people in my family had, it gave me someone else to reach out to, someone else who understood me. And it was so, so important. So this is why I encourage people to reach out to family. If you feel comfortable, do it. It's worth it. I'm going to show you what I sent to my family members next. Let me summarize this for you. I said, hey fam, I'm looking to gather info on family, specifically around reproductive health, to obtain a better understanding of conditions and major health issues, to better understand my own personal journey. I then went on to explain endometriosis and that I was diagnosed in 2015, and then said, hey, if you're willing to share, so am I, let's talk. A question that you may or may not be asking me now is, Ashley, was it worth prying into your family member's personal health history? And my answer to you is 1000% yes. It's opened doors of communication that I never thought would be open. And do I have family members that I think likely had endometriosis or adenomyosis at some point in time? 100%, yes, I do think so. And did I discover that other family members have had different types of treatment for symptoms that are similar to what I've been experiencing? Yes. I've had multiple family members tell me that they've had hysterectomies years and years ago because, of course, there was not enough information known and people were told you need to get rid of your uterus. That's your only option. And, you know, I'm so grateful if you are a family member who has shared your experiences with me. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you because every single conversation that I've had with family have all been super informative and given me another piece of information to add to my own personal story. So thank you again. As always, I'm super grateful for you guys for watching these videos. I look forward to reading your comments and thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to making more videos for you, so stay tuned and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.